Florida Panthers carry that momentum from beating the Boston Bruins in an upset fashion and carry it right into defeating the Toronto Maple Leafs in Game 1. So first off, they set the tone early. The Panthers, they kill off that early penalty, and that's huge for them, right? Because you want to make sure that when you come out and you're away, it could easily, being at Toronto, Scotiabank, all the hype of how Leafs are able to make it past the first round, and now they're going to start to gain momentum and go. That's a big thing to play against, right? And when you're playing away and just coming off of a really long series with the Bruins, but they did a good job. They killed off again that early penalty, and then they get these 2 goals. They come out, get 2 goals in the earlier first. Actually, they get 2 goals early. They get one goal early. I'd say right in like the 10-minute mark there, halfway into the first. Which is huge. And I think they got these goals by just applying pressure, and you can kind of see it. You could see just how the Panthers were not trying to be too fancy. They were throwing pucks to the net. Samsonov had to make some good plays, and especially in that first period, made some good stops. But when you've got just that pressure, and the Panthers are not a small team, they're a pretty physical team, and so they're able to keep that and maintain that space in front of the net and crash that net a little bit. It's a problem for the Leafs. It was a problem for the Bruins. So they were able to get ahead quickly. And I will say, and to that note of physicality, right? I think the game got pretty physical, in my opinion, for a Game 1 between these two teams. And not that, again, these two teams played a pretty grueling series last one, right? The Bruins are a physical team. Tampa Bay is definitely a physical team. But I think, given, in my opinion, that the strong suit of either one of these teams is just the pressure. I think Toronto is more of I wouldn't say a finesse team, but they are more offense heavy, quick speed. They got great shooters on the team, right? Matthews, Marner, Nylander, Tavares, all those guys. I wouldn't say that I wouldn't really say they're grinders there up front. So to see the physicality is a really good sign for both of these teams, right? It shows that they're ready to play, and then there shows that, they're willing to do what it takes here in the playoffs. Tkachuk, he threw some couple hits, but he also got hit a bunch there too. And I think it was like 2 or 3 hits, and like the third one, he was kind of expecting it already. So I think he turned around, and then once he saw the guy coming right at him, he kind of protected himself a little bit there. So always got to keep your head on a swivel, especially knowing that when you are Tkachuk and you are a guy that that the other team knows that you're going to play physical, they're going to come at you too. So a lot of physicality in this first game, and I expect that to continue. And we'll see which team kind of gets worn down first here. But there's a lot happening on that side. And in terms of scoring, I think too, we got contributions from Nyes getting the first goal for the Leafs. Young kids getting these opportunities in the playoffs is really fun to watch. I think, you saw that years ago in Makar, and you see that a little bit across the league, where these kind of unknowns, right? It's just these unknown variables who come in and they contribute. It's really good. It's good to see. It's a fun thing to see young kids come in, and they almost have this naiveness to them about what to expect. So it's pretty cool to see, and hopefully the Leafs get some more contribution from that kid. Because any type of scoring at this point in the playoffs, it all counts the same. So it doesn't have to be the fanciest of plays, although his goal was pretty nice and fancy. That was a pretty sweet goal. But I think in that respect, I think the defense in this game, at least, was, I don't think, either team's strongest attribute in this game. I don't think either team had the best defense. There were a lot of chances up the middle. I don't think both teams are not the type to clog up that middle. I think they're both offensive heavy, and the Panthers, I think, are more of a, like I said a while ago, like applying pressure and just heavy constant attack team, throw pucks to the net, try to just get more traffic in front of the net and kind of hover around that area. And the Toronto Maple Leafs are more of a, they have so many good weapons on the offensive side, and they really like to set themselves up for these good chances, right? Like Austin Matthews will try to set up, whoever he's playing with and all that. Like, so there's a bunch of trying to get that offensive aspect of their game going. So that kind of leaves the defensive side a little bit open to getting exposed, right? I mean, we saw it on the Nyes goal. It was down the middle. Bunting goal was right down the middle. Verhaeghe gets a breakaway on that transition, square down the middle. Although I think the Verhaeghe one was just a little bit of the defense, maybe pinching too much or no real support on the backside. But still, right? Like, I think in the games, and who knows, right? Because the playoffs are pretty unpredictable. Who knows if next game it'll be a very close, 1-0, 2-1 game or 3-2. But for this one to open it up, I think the defensive side wasn't really either team's strong suit. And I think that's something both teams will look back on and try to prevent more shots in the middle, and maybe keep them more to the outside. And I know that the couple goals that went in on the point, that was a bit of a lucky bounce there, lucky tip. But I think both teams would rather have either one of these goalies face shots from outside. I think there's a lot more confidence in their ability to definitely stop those shots on the outside. And speaking of goaltending, I think the goaltending between these two teams is going to be a really big factor. I think that I felt Bobrovsky was a little bit more consistent just in terms of this game and the flow of the game. I felt that he played a little bit more under control. I think, again, both goalies are great. And I think Samsonov, especially in the first period, made some really great east to west saves, sliding across the crease, butterfly slide, he sealed his pad down really well, avoided any, good opportunities there, or saved a lot of good opportunities there. But I just think that, like, this is going to be a battle between who makes less mistakes and who stays more consistent. And, with the way Bobrovsky is starting to get on a roll, right, I think, and I think with him, especially seeing him over the years and the times when he's really shined and the times where, he's kind of struggled a little bit. I think for him, what I've seen is when he gets on a roll and he just starts to get into that rhythm, right? And he's really, I wouldn't really say aggressive. I mean, he is aggressive, but I don't mean aggressive in terms of he challenges too far or he's, really, like he slides power, butterfly slides too far to he's not overly aggressive, but what I mean is he's really dialed in and locked in, and his movements are precise, and he's sealed, right? His pads are sealed, doesn't let pucks go through him, especially doesn't let pucks go under him. He's got such a great seal, whether it's moving the, across in the butterfly or, straight on shot, he's really engaged. And also what I say is, with Bobrovsky, when he's on his game, his depth control is really good. He's such a good goalie, like managing his space in that crease. So, like, there are times where, I'll give you an example on that last goal. Samsonov kind of was, it looked like to me he was swimming a little bit. Maybe he didn't really, there was a lot of traffic in front and he didn't really kind of know exactly from what angle he should have taken on that shot. And again, there's traffic in front, so it's pretty hard to kind of gauge it. But I feel like, he came out a little too far and he was pretty off angle in that first, in that shot initially on that last goal of the Panthers. Right. But you watch Bobrovsky whenever there's, when the Leafs or whoever, even the Bruins back in the other series, when they're moving that puck at the tops and the point or tops of the circle, he never really loses himself in his crease. He never really challenges too far out. He uses his size to his advantage. Like he does kind of come out to the tops of the crease, but it's not like he's over challenging, and his ability to move left and right, it's very precise. Again, like he's not over committing to an angle. He doesn't get himself off angle and moving from left to right. So that's really huge for, and he takes a lot of small shuffles when he moves, right? It's a lot of precise small shuffles. So, these are things where you could just tell when he's on his game, he's really good at just managing his game, managing his space, his depth, and his movement. It's really there. And the only way to beat him really is either through an impossible rebound to stop from him or, which you saw that in the Bruins game, like he kind of let off a bad rebound, or if it's just like, lucky bounce. So, yeah, I think between the two goalies, I think Samsonov is good. I'm not trying to, take anything away from Samsonov, however you say it, but I just think Samsonov's, even from last series, there are moments in time in the game where it just doesn't seem like he's fully in control of his movements or of his mobility east to west, and a lot of times when he goes left to right or he butterfly slides, he's always on his knees. And even if the puck is a little further out, like his preferred method of transition from east to west seems to always be butterfly slide, and that's not bad. You know, he's a big dude, he can do it, and he's very efficient in it, and he definitely has a great butterfly. But I just think that, again, like I've said it before in other videos, when teams start to catch on that he kind of puts himself down low, or he puts himself down before shots even taken, they can maybe hold on to that puck just a little bit longer, make another pass the other way, and kind of leaves himself a little exposed to those opportunities on the other team. But again, overall, I don't think that this game was I don't think either team really played bad, honestly. I think this was just a really close game, and it just happened to be that the Panthers were able in late in the third or whatever to get that lucky, or not lucky, but a good traffic in front and get a good goal there. So I don't think, I didn't get a sense that this was a bad, the Leafs came back, great effort. This seems like a really, I guess, even matchup. I think both teams have a similar style of play a little bit, in my opinion. So it should be a fun series to watch, and we'll see how this turns out.